I was about to challenge you both and say, okay, so you mean to tell me that what happened at Michigan State University, or Ubaldi, where they went into an elementary school and killed children?
The Sandy Hook.
Sandy Hook, what happened over 10 years ago. You're sitting there telling us that we shouldn't be carrying firearms?
Yeah, you shouldn't. Like, if you guys are just traffic cops and stuff like that, you guys shouldn't.
No.
Bruh. This video is brought to you by #BeTheKey. I'm excited to work with Prison Fellowship on this agenda, on this awareness campaign to be the key to unlock a second chance for people who have a criminal record. You know, I have people who are in my family who are incarcerated. One of my favorite cousins, man, he's been in there for 16 years. I talk to him often, and it really makes me think of how important it is to give people a second chance. You know, my objective is to one day get my cousin out of prison and give him a second chance. I know so many people that have made mistakes in the past and they've gotten second chances and they've done an incredible job with it. And one of the reasons why I feel that this is so important, that we should be the key to a second chance, is because Jesus gave all of us a second chance. When we were down and out, making mistakes, down in our sin, doing things we shouldn't have done, Jesus died on the cross so we can have another chance. And that's why I believe in it so much. I believe in redemption. I believe in reconciliation. And we should believe that as this movement goes along. So I just want to give a shout out to Prison Fellowship and a shout out to Be The Key, #BeTheKey, to give people a second chance. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notification anytime I go live and make a video. Y'all already know what to do. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, I had to make a video about this. The topic of whether police officers should carry a gun. I knew there was not going to be a good answer to somebody articulating that cops shouldn't carry a gun. So in this particular scenario, this is Jubilee. They normally have these across, you know, I would say belief spectrums where you have cops versus people who are convicted. I was on the show when they had conservative men versus trans men, which was, you can imagine what that ended up being. But I love the fact that they bring these two factions together. They come together and they have a conversation. So they ask these questions. The people get a chance to go sit down if they agree or disagree. And you're going to hear, I haven't watched the whole thing. I only watched the first part and I said, man, this got to be crazy. But listen to this first question that came out. Should police officers carry a gun?
Cops should not carry guns.
It's the finger behind the gun, because you don't know the mentality, the mind, you know, the heart of the person, and things trigger people and they snap. And no one exempt. Police officers are human beings too. They can snap. If you took guns away from the uniform, I guarantee you, like, half of them would not be there working.
No,
you know?
it's the power.
If you had to struggle to submit a perpetrator and to, like, actually do work, police work.
You know, it's funny, ironic that I'm talking about second chances. He clearly didn't learn from his first time going to prison. Maybe he's not an example of a second chance. You think cops shouldn't carry a gun?
Like, it's not just about reaching for your gun 99% of the time. So it's like if
99% of the time?
the gun wasn't part of the uniform, a lot of them wouldn't take that enabling role that they want.
I believe that y'all should be armed because I believe in the Constitution. I don't believe in the policing that the police force has done throughout many communities I've been in, but I do believe in rights versus laws, and I do believe that there are dangerous scenes that you go to where it is required to use them. So I have to agree that part of your, like he said, his tool belt needs to include a pistol.
Okay, good, because I was about to challenge you both and say, okay, so you mean to tell me that what happened at Michigan State University with an active shooter killing 5 students, or Ubaldi, where they went into an elementary school and killed children?
The Sandy Hook.
Sandy Hook, what happened over 10 years ago. You're sitting there telling us that we shouldn't be carrying firearms?
Yeah, you shouldn't. Like, if you guys are just traffic cops and stuff like that, you guys shouldn't.
No,
if you guys are like a SWAT team.
Yeah, you're not answering my question.
Like I said, I'm just going based on what you said. You called me a predator. I'm like, I never done that in my life, right? I've been in situations where I've been shot at. I had 2 members of my department die in the last 2 months. I've been in situations where I've needed my firearm. I've needed every tool in my belt in my career. If you would go out and then see half of the stuff I see, you may change your perception about what you see. It's dangerous.
100%. Thank you, man. They got a brother on there too. 100%, man. I'm gonna let him finish though. I just had to interject that.
So you can't call for backup.
What does me calling for backup having to do with
So
this?
if you work county, okay, say in my area.
I'm a county cop.
Right, and in my area, I mean, you have miles and miles of nothing around you. Your closest partner is maybe if you're lucky, 20 minutes away. Okay. In the meantime, I've got somebody that has me at gunpoint, and if I don't have a gun on my hip, I'm dead. I am a dead man walking because I have nothing that can go up against another gun.
But how do you think felons feel?
There's tasers,
They
pepper
just-
balls,
Yeah,
like
Societal issues are not on the police. Like, I'm not stripping you of your rights, right? That is not, you can vote. I don't give a shit. You can vote. You can carry a gun. You can do all that. That is not my job in life. My job is, you've been accused of a crime. I got to take you to jail because this, and that, and the third. I'm done.
You're saying that we should have pepper spray, tasers to Michigan State University or Uvalde? Is that what you're saying? So you're telling me that if I'm a cop, I have no gun?
But
right?
also, this,
And
Well, he said to the community, like maybe
No, that's not what he said.
Maybe
The prompt is, should cops be unarmed? Hold on a second. You just got done watching probably the most tragic incidents probably historically. Uvalde, may I add. That's kids, for crying out loud. And what you're sitting here saying is that we shouldn't be unarmed. What would you like me to do if someone has an AK-47 killing kids? That's my question to you.
we actually have our own rights. You know, that we actually have our own rights to carry and defend ourselves in certain situations like that.
You know,
but
with
the
all
full
due
story-
respect, that's not the that's not the question I'm
But if
asking.
you want to use
No,
Uvalde,
I'm asking you if you were okay. I'll ask in a different way. If you're a police officer and you have no firearms, you got your pepper spray, you have your taser, you have your baton, and you are responding to Uvalde Elementary School where there's an active shooter with an AK-47, what are you going to do?
I would say that I would call for backup to the proper authorities that would be entitled to have those weapons that are not in the general community.
I get what he's saying.
No, but what entitled to have weapons? Who? What agency?
So like,
SWAT
the
and
UK.
above. You
Yeah,
know,
what
there's
he's saying.
certain people with
Okay,
certain-
I think they're talking over each other. I think I kind of get what he's trying to say. It's ridiculously ignorant, but I think he's trying to say regular cops on the street shouldn't carry guns. It should only be specialty units. Now I'm gonna rip this apart in a second, but let me let him finish.
United Kingdom, how United Kingdom, their special force in their police department have weapons, but they're regular cops.
So why should you just be? Why should you have the ability to just tote around a gun? That's my question to you.
What's that?
My question to you is, just because you're a cop, why should you have the right to tote a gun around just because you have a badge?
No. That's not what the prompt is. The prompt is cops being unarmed. Cops being all of
yeah,
us.
but you use
Whether
Uvalde,
you're
and
patrol-
Uvalde, they took like over an hour to
If you let
respond
me-
when
allow me
they
to
were
finish. He
there. So
asked
you
me
had
a
the
question.
guns and you still didn't.
What I'm
shoot.
saying is that he's saying cops. Cops is a very. When you say cops to me, you're talking everybody, every single cop. Okay, and you're saying we shouldn't be unarmed. Okay.
You shouldn't have guns at all.
Okay, so you know what? Next time there's a big active shooter going into a university, then I guess we're just gonna let him shoot all the students.
So let me talk about this real quick because I think that they were missing each other on the point. Clearly, the guy right here didn't learn his lesson when he went to jail for whatever he went to jail for. He didn't learn his lesson. The guy at the end, because he's ignorant. Like, you know, if once you get into a situation, you go through it, you go to prison, you get out, you should be privy to what's going on, and you should be forgiving, right? You want society to forgive you, you should forgive society as well. But let me just explain this about cops with guns. Like, I'm a former police officer. I was on a SWAT team and I was a patrol cop. You don't. If nobody in America had a gun, meaning that there was no guns in America, yeah, cops wouldn't even need to have a gun, unless you was like some big happened and you had a SWAT contingency that could respond. Maybe if nobody had guns and knives and I don't know, because I really do think that according to the way the law is and according to the way police think, you have to be able to overcome resistance. And you have to be able to save other people's lives as well. So if you have 5 or 6 people jumping one person, one cop with his 2 hands ain't gonna be able to do much. So that's why you got to introduce a level of force that's higher that can overcome their level of force. So I'm struggling to even find a reason why cops would never have a gun, even if nobody had guns, why cops wouldn't be able to carry a gun. So let me just go to the premise here. The gentleman said that it makes no sense because cops on a traffic stop can end up in a life and death situation right there. A cop that's on a traffic unit, meaning a DUI operator, just pulling people over for DUI, could end up in a life and death like that. A cop just responding to a call at the school could end up life and death. A cop could be just driving and witness something, and a cop can be off duty. He going home, witness something, life and death. So I think people don't understand the functionality of police. I mean, some people have so much anti-police rhetoric ingrained in their spirit that they can't see reality. Cops should always have a gun. And the gentleman said 99% of the time they pulling guns. Man, I ain't never shot nobody. I was a police officer for 6.5 years, almost 7 years. I was on the SWAT team, worked in one of the most dangerous cities in Arizona. And I ain't had to kill anybody. Most cops never get into officer-involved shootings. Most cops, they will never engage in an officer-involved shooting. It's rare. Now, they put it up on TV because we have 350 million people that we patrol and we protect. So out of 350 million people, there's going to be a bunch of situations that occur. And there's no more than 1,200 or 20-something hundred police shootings a year. I think it's like 1,200. It's somewhere really small, like between 2,000 and 1,500 or so police shootings a year, patrolling 300 million people, having millions of interactions a day. And we don't shoot people that much. And 99.9% of the people that get shot is because they're shooting at the cops and doing something extremely violent. So your chances of getting killed by police officers is slim to none. Your chances of getting killed unintentionally or through malice is almost zero. You're more likely you get struck by lightning than get killed by a police officer unarmed as a black man in America. It's rare. Now, the chance of you dying in a hospital due to malpractice is way bigger. They kill over between 200 and 400,000 people. The reason that the numbers are so wide, because there's a lot of in-between documentation. But they said officially about 200,000 people die every year in America due to malpractice. And on a higher year, or if they account for certain things, it's upwards of 400,000. Cops would have to kill the people at the rate that cops end up shooting and killing people. They'll have to do that for 100 years straight in order for them to satisfy just 1 year of medical malpractice. 100 years. They would have to do 200 years to do just 1 year of medical malpractice at the higher end. What are y'all even talking about? You got to be rooted in facts and reality. Cops carry guns because they're here to protect themselves and they're here to protect your. And if you remove that gun from them, they can't protect you. Y'all gonna be sitting ducks, getting robbed and murdered. If criminals knew cops didn't have a gun, I mean, they'd be robbing you silly. People be getting robbed every single night. So, I think it's just the bitterness towards police officers makes this a lot more weird, in my opinion, than having a functional conversation. I get it. You're an ex-convict. Okay, I get it. That don't mean you have to be mad at the cop. You were in there doing something you weren't supposed to be doing most of the time. And the reconciliation portion of it is for you to understand what your faults were and to do better next time. But anyway, I mean, I can go 100 hours about this. Should cops carry a gun? It's mindless talk to me. If you know how crazy the world is, you know how crazy criminals are, how evil they are, how much destruction happens, you would pray to God that every man, woman, and child carry a gun and a police officer. But anyway, I'll talk about it more on another video. I'll see you guys later.